Tunecore versus Distrokid versus CD Baby. Peace. What's happening, good people? This gift here for Payusnomind, and this is a comparison video. Hey, you know what's important? Making sure you collect everything you're owed as a songwriter and as an artist. And one step in that process is getting registered with the Publishing Administrator Song Trust. They will register your work with all of the performance rights organizations worldwide, from PreOrders to SOCAN to ASCAP and BMI and CSAC, whichever you choose, in the US, and you will be able to collect all of your publishing royalties, your mechanical royalties, and everything like that, man. So make sure you sign up for Song Trust. You can get a 20% discount by using the promo code Payusnomind with a capital P. That's Payusnomind with a capital P for 20% off on Song Trust. Make sure you get registered and collect everything you're owed. Now, these distributors have different pricing structures. Tunecore charges you $50 per album per year. Like every year, if you release 3 albums with Tunecore, that's $150 every year that you would have to pay for those 3 releases. And it would compound every other release you put out. So if you put out a 4th release, then that would be $200. If you put out another release, then that would be $250 every year that you would have to pay. Singles, $10 per single per year with Tunecore. So every single is another fee stacked on top of the fee for the previous single every year. Distrokid, unlimited distribution for $20 a year, but that tier is very restrictive and not even comparable to what Tunecore or CD Baby did. So to even come close, you have to move into the $35 tier with Distrokid. So for fair comparison's sake, we have to consider the $35 tier and not even bother with the $20 tier. So you're talking about $35 a year for Distrokid for unlimited distribution. Release as much music as you want. CD Baby, they charge a one-time fee. $50 per release. Really, they cut that price in half, they cut that price lower than $50, not half, but they cut that price lower than $50, but you have to pay for UPC codes with CD Baby. It's not optional. You have to buy them. And it's $20. So the discount that they give you on the initial price is bumped right back up with the fees that you have to pay for the UPC codes. So with CD Baby, you end up paying $50 per album or $10 per single. But CD Baby also takes 9% of your revenue. So in addition to the one-time fee, they take a percentage of revenue. Now, where that impacts things is it's like Tunecore and Distrokid both allow you to keep 100% of what you make. So you don't lose any money when you make money. You keep 100% of what you make. CD Baby's 9% is punitive because the more money you make, the more money you lose. So let's say you made $20,000 for the year. If you made $20,000 for the year, you lose $1,800 of it to CD Baby for digital distribution. You know, whereas if you made $20,000 for the year with Tunecore, you would keep $20,000. If you made $20,000 a year with Distrokid, you keep $20,000. Now, when it comes to stores, this is where Distrokid falls behind, because Tunecore and CD Baby gets you into pretty much all of the stores. They both have like just a crazy supply of stores. They have a lot of relationships that they built with a lot of different companies to get you into places like restaurants and supermarkets and digital jukeboxes and all sorts of stuff like that. So it's not even a debate when it comes to stores. It's Tunecore and CD Baby wins there, hands down. Now, new stores is an aspect of having your music automatically added when new stores arise, or when stores kind of get bought out or collaborate, like how you had Beats become Apple Music, and you had Amazon launch Amazon Prime and all of this different type of stuff, Amazon Prime Music and all of this different type of stuff. So when these new stores arise, TikTok launches Rezo, you want to make sure that your music is there available to people to be able to stream and stuff like that. And you don't want to have to take on the cumbersome task of manually adding every release that you put out to these stores yourself. You would like for it to just show up there. Now, Tunecore charges a fee for that. They charge a $10 one-time fee for you to be able to do that, to have your music automatically added to new stores. CD Baby does not charge anything. You know, I have releases with CD Baby, new store pop up, I go there, my music is there. I don't even have to take no steps, don't have to pay anything extra, you know. But with Tunecore, it's that it's a one-time fee. $10, not the end of the world. You pay it once, your release gets added, you're done. Now, Distrokid, it's an annual fee. So Distrokid charges an annual fee to have your music automatically added to new stores. And it's an annual fee of about $8 a year. So you have to pay an additional $8 every year to Distrokid to have your music automatically added to new stores. Now next, you got Content ID. Now Content ID, audio fingerprinting, making sure nobody uploads your music to YouTube without you profiting from it, and collecting that revenue and paying it out to you and stuff like that. Now, Tunecore charges a one-time fee of $10. You pay $10 once, you collect all of the revenue that you owe from Content ID. But in addition to that $10 one-time fee, they take 20% of your revenue. So they charge a $10 one-time fee, but they take 20% of what you make. Now, CD Baby takes 30% of what you make from Content ID. So amongst the three of these distributors, they are the worst in that regard. 30% they take, which is a huge chunk. Now, Distrokid charges it's $5 per single per year for Content ID, or $14 per album per year for Content ID, plus 20% of your revenue. So Tunecore is a one-time fee and then 20%, but Distrokid, it's an annual fee on top of a percentage, on top of the 20%. And that to me is just insanity, which is like, Tunecore is like loses there, CD Baby loses there with that crazy 30%. So the winner for me when it comes to Content ID amongst these three is Tunecore. Now, when it comes to split pay, Distrokid is the only one of these three companies that does split pay. So if that's something that you value and that's something that's important to you, then Distrokid would probably be your selection. Now, the caveat with Distrokid and split pay is that whoever you're splitting revenue with also has to have a paid Distrokid account. They have to be paying $10 a year for Distrokid in order to receive the money that they're owed. Now, when it comes to pre-orders, Tunecore has the best pre-order service because they have one feature that is a valuable feature that other digital distributors do not have, and that is the ability to do special pre-order pricing and charge $5 for your pre-order and $10 or $15 or whatever when the release actually drops. And that can incentivize people to buy it more. Now, in addition to that, you know, you got platforms like Distrokid. They have a similar offering with pre-orders, and so does CD Baby, where they all three allow you to do pre-orders. They all three allow you to do instant gratification tracks where you offer a song up, like a song that nobody's heard of, that they can get immediately when they do the pre-order. But the other two do not do special pre-order pricing. And in addition to that, Distrokid, they just have a more cumbersome process, because if you want to do instant gratification track, rather than it just be checking a box and having that done, you got to fill out a form and submit it and all of that type of stuff. And listen, that's not something you want to go through, because that opens up the possibility of mistakes happening. The more paperwork, the more possibilities of issues. So you just want to have it be more of a simple process. So Tunecore, when it comes to pre-orders, is the clear winner for me. Now, transaction fees, CD Baby wins, hands down, because you pay no transaction fees at all with CD Baby. Next, behind CD Baby is Tunecore, because transaction fees are only 25 cents with them. So no matter how much you withdraw, you only pay 25 cents. Now, Distrokid charges a minimum, or a maximum rather, a maximum of $1 in transaction fees. Now, transaction fees are the fees that the payment processor charges to process the payment. So when you withdraw your funds to your PayPal account, PayPal will take 2.9% of that revenue, and you want your distributor to cap it. And all three of these guys cap them or remove them. So CD Baby removes them. You don't have to pay it at all. Tunecore caps them at 25 cents. Distrokid caps them at $1. So they all cap them, but CD Baby, you save the most, then Tunecore, then Distrokid. Now, when it comes to cancellation, CD Baby wins, because once you pay your money, the release is there forever. They take 9% of the revenue, but you don't never have to worry about it coming down. With Tunecore, if you don't pay, they take it out of stores. With Distrokid, if you don't pay, they take it out of stores. Now, Distrokid has the leave a legacy option, but that's double spending. You got to pay to keep it in stores and then pay an annual fee to keep putting out new releases, which doesn't make any sense. You might as well just pay one time to keep it in stores and keep moving. It don't make sense to pay twice like that. Now, when it comes to advances, Tunecore wins because they're the only one out of the three that offers advances. So if you want to get, let's say, a year's worth of your royalties up front, you can only do that with Tunecore. And I'm a big fan of advances because that's money that you can get up front and use for useful things like investing in new projects, music videos, even building businesses, whatever have you. So advances are tremendously valuable, a great tool. So breaking down these options, you got Distrokid, $35 a year for unlimited distribution. You get to keep 100% of what you make, but they have these additional annual fees for Content ID plus a percentage of revenue. They have the additional fees to have your music automatically added to new stores, and then they don't get you into a lot of stores on top of that. Now, CD Baby, is $50 per release plus 9% of revenue, which I'm not too fond of. That percentage, like I said again, can be punitive. The more money you make, the more money you lose. So you make $20,000 for the year, you lose $1,800 to CD Baby. The 30% of Content ID revenue is something else that I'm not the biggest fan of, because that's a huge chunk of your revenue, especially if Content ID is something you make a lot of money from. Now, what's great about it is that they pay the transaction fees, so you don't have to worry about that. That's taken care of. They have great service overall. Like their stats, their trending reports are, I think, the best I've ever seen in a sense of reliability. You're not going to be concerned with anything kind of like breaking down with CD Baby. And if anything does break down, you can communicate with them and they'll fix it. So when it comes to service, that's something that they really have over a lot of distributors. Sync licensing is another thing that they have over a lot of distributors, because it's not an additional fee for sync licensing. It's not some other service that you have to pay an additional cost to participate in. It comes included with what you pay for digital distribution. So you pay your $50 for an album, or your $10 for a single, and your music can be added to their sync licensing platform, Rumblefish, where it can be used in YouTube videos and movies and stuff like that. Now, the likelihood of that happening, not high, but it's a possibility that it could. So, hey, still a good thing to have, just in case. Now, CD Baby also has this additional thing, this new thing that they started called Stages, where artists, like, let's say starting at over 20,000 monthly listeners, if you have over 20,000 monthly listeners, they'll offer you promotional support and help you get on prominent playlists and stuff like that. But I mean, at 20,000 monthly listeners, you probably don't need that support. You know, you probably kind of good on your own. You know, they also do physical distribution, but I don't know how valuable that is these days. You probably are better off selling your music directly from your website if you're doing physical. Now, Tunecore, the thing that will give you pause is the $50 annual fee for albums. You know, having to pay that for every album that you put out. But the good thing is those advances, you know, so if you make some money and you making like a few $1,000s a year, if you can get a few years of an advance up front and you can get $30,000 and $40,000 in your pocket right now to make a move with, I think that is tremendously valuable. You know, the aspect of Tunecore where you get to keep 100% of what you make and you're not losing anything. So it's $50 a year for the release, but if the release is making $1,000 a year, then you're only losing $50 as opposed to 9% of it. And then the pre-orders with not just the instant gratification and stuff like that, but also the special pricing, which is something that I really dig. Yeah, so that's the comparison. You guys can tell me how you feel about these digital distributors. If you use them, which ones do you prefer? What do you like about them? What you don't like about them? All of that good stuff. We got links to discounts, codes, and stuff like that for Tunecore and Distrokid if you want to use either of those guys. So check the description box, click those links. If anybody wants to reach out to me, you can at Payusnomind on Instagram, at Payusnomind on Twitter. Hit me up, text me, link in the video, man, or you see the number in the video. So you can text that number if you want to chop it up with me. This is Gift, signing off. Payusnomind. Peace, good people. One.